Hi there, and welcome into Main Street Living. I'm Danielle Avari.
Hey guys, I'm Quincy Carr.
Quincy, we are, of course, missing our lovely Cheryl again today. As always, we are missing her, hopefully getting her back soon. But a lot going on in the world right now, obviously, with everything going on in Ukraine. It's easy to get caught up in kind of just the craziness of the world right now. But it is also officially March, which means it is Women's History Month. And I don't want to waste a lot of time. I want to make sure we give lots of time to our women guests today. So what do we have coming up, Quincy?
Oh, well, we have the rehab center in Louisiana. They're getting the injured back to living again. Plus, our friends at Subaru of El Cajon, they're showing some love in their community. And we get great advice from home mortgages.
We love that. We're also going to visit the Vegas art scene and get to hear from women making an impact. But first, what is Women's History Month all about? We get into it next on Main Street Living.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Now, Danielle, at the top of the show, we mentioned we're celebrating Women's History Month. And when you're talking about the contributions of women to our society, it's a lot of content to cover.
Yeah, we've just done so much. But one place to start might be the Women's Museum of California that you can visit in beautiful Balboa Park or online if you're not lucky enough to be near San Diego. Please welcome the Executive Director of the Women's Museum of California, Felicia Shaw, to Main Street Living. Felicia, thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, and happy Women's History Month.
Absolutely. For those who don't know, it is March. It's Women's History Month. We
It is.
recognize, you remember the contributions of women that have made to our society. Why is it so important to set aside this time to bring attention to the achievements of women?
Yes, unfortunate that we have to get squished into 1 month because, obviously the Women's History Museum, we celebrate women each and every day. But, the reason that we exist and the reason that the month exists is that women are under-recognized in our history books. There's a really startling statistic that only 15% of women names come up in history books as opposed to men. And so we recognize that women are breaking glass ceilings everywhere, every day, and they have been for decades. But we have to do more to bring attention to their achievements. And so that's why we exist. And that's why this month is going to be popping. So I hope everybody's getting out there celebrating women.
Yeah, that's right. You're talking about popping and breaking glass ceilings, Felicia. Recognizing the contributions of women is a huge part of what you do at the Women's Museum of California. So can you tell us a little bit about the museum and what visitors will find there?
Yeah, just a little history on our museum, since it's a history museum. We were founded in 1983 by Mary Maskell, who recognized that women weren't being recognized in history books. And so she began an archive right in her living room and gained a great following. And pretty soon that living room was just overflowing with documents and books and all kinds of, information that verified the importance of women. Wasn't long before they moved into a bigger facility and then to Liberty Station. During the pandemic, we decided to make a move ourselves and split the museum into two. So yes, we are in Balboa Park, where our collections are held. A lot of the items that Mary Maskell, who's no longer with us, collected. We have a huge collection of historic clothing, hats and purses and gloves, all the fun stuff, and then a lot of serious stuff. Just some of the documents that we've collected from women that really verify the fine work they've done over the years. And then our second facility is located in southeastern San Diego. This was an intentional move that we made because we recognized that a lot of women of color just weren't being engaged and not being involved and not being recognized. And so now we have a facility at the Jacobs Center for Neighborhood Innovation, where it's not your mother's museum, I'll tell you that. It's a place where we invite people to roll up their sleeves, get engaged, touch things, have dialogues, have all kinds of conversations about women's history. So I invite everyone to come visit both sites.
Nice.
That's amazing. I mean, obviously, you guys are featuring the stories of women from the past, but you also are celebrating women who make a difference right now. What can you tell us about your Hall of Fame?
Yeah, women making history today. Well, since I think this is our 21st annual San Diego County Women's History Hall of Fame, and it will be held on March 20th. It's virtual this year, and thanks to COVID. We're still trying to get to the place where we can bring people together again. But what we do is we recognize 5 incredible, phenomenal women who have a lifetime achievements demonstrating their value to our community. Some of the women in the past who you may recognize, Sally Ride is who was inducted into our Hall of Fame, and all kinds of incredible women whose names you'd recognize.
Yeah, well, Felicia, I understand you will be inducting a new group of incredible women into the Hall of Fame in just a few days. You got to tell us about that.
Yeah, so again, on March 20th, our new set of inductees, and by the way, we've inducted over 125 women since we started the program. So one woman I wanted to tell you about is Josephine Telemontes, who has been an activist and a historian in the Barrio Logan neighborhood. Before Chicano Park was Chicano Park, she and a group of activists gathered around and determined that they were not going to have a freeway go through their neighborhood. And they formed a human chain link, to stop the bulldozers. She was one of those women down there stopping the bulldozers from changing that neighborhood's character. She is an incredible historian and has done a lot for Barrio Logan. Judge Tamila Apima, a first Iranian judge on the bench. Francine Foster Williams, who was responsible for establishing our first Martin Luther King parade. She was the person who inspired that. Marie Herney, who was an activist for women feminists. She actually passed away in 1984, and we're just getting around to recognizing her. So we do recognize women who are still living, as well as those who are no longer with us. It's get your tissues out. It's one of those kind of programs where everyone is just so happy and so joyful to be able to recognize these women.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, outside of the joy, what do you hope people take away from a visit to the Women's Museum?
Well, first of all, to learn. We recognize that, outside of a few common names, when I asked the group one time, who name a famous woman, and they said Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman. So we want everyone to have many more names on the tip of their tongues when they're talking about really famous women. We know our Vice President Kamala Harris, but there are so many more that we should know and we should be able to talk about. So first, to learn. The second is to be inspired. We want people to come into the museum, and after engaging with our exhibits that talk about feminism from the first wave during the suffragist era, when we first got our right to vote, all the way through the third wave, we want people to feel that I'm so inspired now that I want to go out and be an activist for gender equality. I want to speak up in that boardroom when something's not going right for women. I want to have the ammunition and the knowledge to know what to say. And then to go out and be more involved with our women's community. Women were inordinately impacted by COVID-19. We were on the front lines. And we were the ones who had to go home and take care of the kids when they were homeschooling. And a lot of women lost ground in the workplace. So we know that there's a lot more work to do. There are many more opportunities for women to be first in their fields, whether it's sports or politics or medicine or education. And so lift up our girls and lift up the women who are doing the work right now.
Beautifully said, Felicia. And we're short on time, so I have to ask you really quick, do you have exhibits online for viewers who are not in California? And also, how can the viewers find more information about the Women's Museum and your Hall of Fame?
Sure. So 2 ways. Obviously, just go online and you'll find all types of digital exhibits that cover a range of topics from, women in fashion to women in the arts. And you can just, at your leisure with a cup of coffee right in the comfort of your own living room, take one of those digital exhibits out and learn. The other way, obviously, is just to visit our website. And because of COVID, thank goodness something good came out of COVID. We have a lot of virtual programs where you can dial in and join us for all kinds of programs right online. And then visit our website, and then you'll learn about everything. It's all there for the taking.
Nice.
Well, we met another incredible woman today, so thank you so much for joining us, Felicia.
Well, thanks for having me, and have me back again.
Absolutely.
So great to see the impact that the Women's Museum is making. And speaking of impacts, next we explore the impact of art.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, local artists can add much more than just pretty pictures to their communities. Now, art can help a community form a common identity as well.
Absolutely. And artists often have a true passion for making their own communities better and stronger through their artwork. Shannon Dorn is doing just that with her documentary 702 Unstripped about the little known history of the art scene in Las Vegas. Check this out.
702 Unstripped is a documentary film about the birth of the Las Vegas art scene and how it was influenced by hip-hop culture.
This documentary is a compilation of the experiences that Shannon witnessed within the growth of the city.
Born and raised in Vegas, like with a camera, like why else would I be there? So that's why I felt like the documentary was really important part of my story and my life.
From 99 until now, I was not just witnessing it, I was a part of helping this turn into what it needed to be.
The documentary features a lot of diverse people, from artists, painters, to dancers.
She has an eye for capturing people's essence and the things that people are breathing life into the community, and I think that she just was doing that intuitively.
Hip-hop played a major part in a lot of the culture you see here, especially the murals, because a lot of the murals are graffiti-based, done with spray paint. So that's one of the main elements of hip-hop. There's a lot of b-boy culture here, and that went on to the Strip with the Jabberwocky.
They wanted to ban hip-hop in Las Vegas. Who started First Friday, right? A lot of people think that Tony Hsieh did.
There is this integration of music and dance and art and performance, and that rather than there being this competitive separation, there is a desire to help each other grow.
When tourists do come to Vegas, they don't think of Vegas as an art city, but when you start going downtown, there's a lot of talent, and the world needs to see it.
Alexander P. Huerta was funny and smart and talented and loving and so grounded in his own truth.
Alex is that mentor for so many people in the Arts District.
That man's echo and ripple is, I guarantee you, it is still touching people, because I know it's still touching me.
And really showed us like how to live our dreams.
This is just one story of the many that are interwoven in this beautiful documentary. And Las Vegas is rich with art and culture. And not only is it rich, it has been.
People are going to take this experience home with them. So they're going to go back to wherever they came from and say like, wow, you didn't know this was going on in Vegas, huh?
I would love for the world to see that culture does exist in Vegas, and just expose the talent, expose the art, expose the underground side of Vegas that people haven't seen.
Let's put the flashlight on Vegas. Let people know that we're here and we got some badass art.
Wow, it's so cool. It's so cool to see the artists making an impact in the community, you know?
That's right. And actually, in my short time that I lived in Las Vegas, I didn't really think of it as an art scene, but they're absolutely right. If you go to downtown, it is actually kind of a thriving art scene that's kind of emerged there. So it's really cool to see out there.
Yeah. Well, you can see more of the 702 Unstripped documentary at their website, 702unstripped.com, or follow them on Instagram at 702 Unstripped.
And that's right. Next, coming up, we're talking about inspiring girls to change the world. I love Women's History Month.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. During Women's History Month, Danielle, we always learn about women doing amazing things to change the world or just make their neighborhoods better.
That's right. And for all the diverse backgrounds and ventures, there's one thing that all these incredible women have in common. All of them are once little girls looking for guidance and support. A group in California is working to empower the next generation of incredible women. Please welcome Ashley Blanc and Megan Hogarty from Girls Rising. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So Megan, I'm going to come to you first here. Girls Rising is celebrating 10 years of supporting and inspiring girls in San Diego County. How did you guys get started? What were kind of the goals here?
Gosh, okay. Well, we started originally, we were Big Sister League of San Diego, Inc. It started in 1942, if you can believe that. It was a housing program for women and children. Then toward like the mid 70s, like 1978, they really only turned it into a housing program for women that were in distressed situations and needed mentors. Then as we got toward 2012, they pulled apart just a mentoring program out of the housing program and decided to reach only underserved women and children in the San Diego County area. And so in 2012, we separated from that organization and became Girls Rising of San Diego. And primarily the goal, and you'll hear this word often, is consistency. So for us, the program was really inspired to sort of prevent girls from not having others to lean on, whether it be a role model or a guardian. So we thought that during this mentor program, we could be available to give these girls experiences and exposures that they may not have otherwise. What we also noticed was that the need for a mentor was so critical at such an early age because most of the women in the program prior to separating had experienced some sort of childhood trauma or lack of guardian in the home.
Wow. And Ashley, I have to ask you this, like, why is it so important to have that one-on-one relationship between big sister and little sister?
Yeah, having the one-on-one relationship really helps the big sister and little sister to build a deeper connection. Like Megan said, the key word throughout the entire program is consistency, and being able to have that one-on-one partnership and match provides the consistent and positive role model that our little sisters need. And it really helps them to inspire, empower, and encourage each other on a deeper level.
I like it. Nice.
Absolutely. Nice. Megan, well, I imagine both big sisters and little sisters gain a lot through this experience, getting to know each other. What kind of impact does the program have?
You know, I'm so glad you asked about impact because truly our goal was always to have the girls be confident. But three of the things that are the most salient is the fact that we have no high school dropouts, 0 teen pregnancy, and every girl in our program, regardless of age, has matriculated to the next grade. So I think that those are those hard sort of metrics that we can share with you. The softer stats are that we sit and do goal setting with the girls at the beginning of their entrance into the program. And we see so much confidence that comes through, so much more engagement from the time they came into the program until the time they are settled with a big sister.
Yeah, you know, and you're you spoke about the impact of the academics and all of that. So Ashley, you guys have a career day that's coming up, right? So it's in a few weeks. Tell us about that.
We do. So we provide 6 to 8 events per year. And one of our bigger events is Career Day. And that's actually May 14th. And that's open to middle and high school age girls. It's a interactive career fair where we just connect the girls with a variety of different careers and professions that they, that they may not have considered otherwise. So they're able to come to the event and go through an exhibit style setup where they meet with a broad range of professions, and they can see different opportunities that they may not have known were in the community. Career Day is sponsored by SDG&E, and they have a resume building workshop that they'll be attending at the career fair, as well as a lesson on social media presentation and how important it is to have a clean footprint in the social media space when it comes to recruiting for jobs and looking for jobs.
Wow.
That's such an important point too that I don't think it's talked about enough. So I'm so glad you brought that up, Ashley. Megan, what are some of the lessons that you kind of hope the participants take away from attending Career Day?
You know, aside from the obvious things like confidence, one of the things that Ashley and I really talk about almost ad nauseum now is collaboration, and not with just females, but with males. That, you know, here we are wanting to empower girls and women, but at the same token, the reality is that you're going to be partnering and collaborating with men and boys outside of, you know, your extracurricular, your job search, your work environment. So we want to make sure that we're not setting the tone that they have to be immediately competitive. We want to be able to really engage them in collaboration the whole time. And that's really, for us, probably one of the most important things, is that we're preparing them for that.
Okay, well, you know, there's also another part to this entire project. Okay, how is the Girls Rising project funded? Okay, is there a cost to the participants, Ashley?
There is no cost to the participants. We are funded entirely by donations. So we're always looking for individual donors, corporate sponsorships, foundations, and that's how we fund our entire program.
Oh,
Well, so then we have to ask, how can viewers get more information about Girls Rising and donate if they'd like to?
Visiting our website gives you all the information, and we have a contact page on there where you can reach out to us. My email is on there, as well as Roxy's email, who's our awesome program coordinator. But if you'd like more information, please reach out to me or submit it on our contact page, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
amazing.
like women
work
making
you
an
guys are doing.
impact. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much, Ashley and Megan. We really appreciate your guys' time and all you're doing for the young girls in your area.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting us share it with you.
No problem.
Amazing. I love seeing people help people. You know that. Next up, we're going to witness firsthand how businesses can become helpful neighbors. Welcome back into Main Street Living. Quincy, when we feel like we're a part of a neighborhood, it's natural to want to help out and make our communities better. But when you find a business that makes giving back a priority, that is something to celebrate.
That's right, Danielle. And Subaru of El Cajon, they take the Subaru Love Promise Pledge very seriously. In fact, take a look at some of the projects that they're supporting in their neighborhood.
One of the great things about being around Subaru is they've invited us as our particular community outreach center. What we've been able to do is ask our employees to reach out and tell us what they feel passionate about, how they can feed their soul in addition to coming to work here. You can buy a car anywhere, but what we're looking for is how we can become a better member of the community.
How we get people to be positive about doing things for the community and for ourselves at the dealership level is a #1 topic for us here at Subaru of El Cajon. The big question is, how do we do that? The short answer is communication. It's all about good people doing good things for good reasons all the time. If we can find someone's happiness and help them enjoy that even more, we've done a phenomenal job.
The East County Transitional Living Center has been a fantastic charity to connect with. They do a great job of bringing the homeless back into the community and really driving them back into being positive members of the society. We've been fortunate to be able to bring them some of their basic needs: blankets, toilet paper, paper towels, things you wouldn't imagine that 400 people that have nothing need every day.
The support of Subaru of El Cajon and many other groups is really essential to us. When I give tours, I'll tell people, hey, this room here is where we keep all the gold, and the gold is toilet paper. And recently, Subaru did an employee toilet paper collection and brought a big stack of toilet paper over. We go through 2,000 rolls of toilet paper a month. And so, you know, expenses like that we can offset by community involvement. We're so fortunate to have a group like Subaru of El Cajon that would help us and support us.
All the benefactors that are contributing to sponsoring our place has been wonderful, because from the toilet paper to the food to, income that, all of a sudden is being brought into this place for the resource center, for the activities, for the equipment, has been wonderful. And if that makes it much easier for us, for example, for me, because I've been there, it's going to be going on a year. to be able to work with the incoming families that are coming into the ECTLC. I mean, we don't really have to worry about anything about it. Just going to class, getting ourselves and our minds and our hearts renewed, and being loved. I mean, it's awesome. It's really awesome.
Every day we talk to our employees, our customers, and our community members to give as much as we can and to bring as much joy to the world as possible, because frankly, who doesn't need more joy?
Quincy, you know, one of our favorite things here on Main Street Living is seeing people give back to their communities, especially companies. So it's so great to see that. And like you said, who couldn't use more joy? You can find more about the impact Subaru of El Cajon is making in the community on their website, subaruofelcajon.com.
That's right. Well, up next, advice for the red hot real estate market, Danielle. That and so much more after the break. Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, buying a house is a huge decision and usually the largest financial investment most people ever make. But what we do know is that owning real estate is one of the best ways to grow wealth. So there are some good reasons to get into the market, I think.
Yes, but buying property can also be very confusing with different mortgage options, interest rates, and terms. And with so many choices, how do you know what to do? Our go-to expert for mortgage advice is back to help us sort this all out. Please welcome the past president of the National Association of Mortgage Brokers, John Stevens. John, thanks so much for joining us back here on Main Street Living.
Oh, thank you so much for having me back. I appreciate it. Good to see you both again.
Well, we had to bring you back because there's a lot going on in the real estate market these days. And it seems like every day we're hearing news about interest rates rising. What's going on with those?
So for the first time in the last couple of years, rates are actually doing what we expected them to do. You may have heard there's something going on in the world right now. And obviously our thoughts and our prayers go out to all those being affected by it. But what it's doing is it is making it possible for rates that have been climbing to go down a little bit again. So you're seeing a little bit of relief when it comes to those rates. The Fed has announced that they are going to raise rates this year multiple times. But in the most recent meeting, they announced a smaller rise at the first time this year than was previously expected. And so, you know, it's always a great time to buy. It really is. But there is going to be a little bit of time before the massive rate increase that we've already seen happening. And heaven forbid, a 4% interest rate, right? We talked about this last time, that these are still so low and so amazing, you know, and you really should take advantage of it, because we need to raise those interest rates in order to shore up our economy, in order to make sure that we are able to continue to exist as an economy, right?
Right. So, John, if rates are going all the way up again, is it still a good time to buy property?
Oh, absolutely. I would recommend, even when rates were 18%, buy property. When rates dropped, you know, to under 3%, buy property. Because that's the one thing my dad taught me when I was little. He goes, you know, always find a job that people need no matter what the economy does. And so as I looked at that and I thought of everything, I realized that land is something you can't create more of. You can take land and expand an island. You can increase, you know, and dig down areas. But at the end of the day, you're still taking something that exists and you can't create more of. And so you look right now, there was a report last week that it's an 8-year wait in some areas of the world to get an apartment. 8 years they have to wait. So always a great time to buy, always a great time for long-term investing. For those of you out there listening and watching who are looking at flipping homes, you know, you may have to rethink that through, but long-term real estate investing, it's always a great time to buy.
Well, that explains why. Sorry, go ahead, Quincy.
Well, I was going to say, your dad gave you great advice. My dad just said, get outside and play.
Oh, I like that.
What I was going to say is, since it's such a great time to buy, obviously it's very competitive in the market. We're hearing about bidding wars on homes. I actually just had a friend tweet yesterday that she was on a work trip and she found out she got the home that she was bidding for and she was crying. So obviously a lot of emotion that gets into this. What's the best way to handle that?
So I love that story. It's such a energy and emotionally fueled item that we're doing when we purchase a home, right? We're so invested in it emotionally. We see our furniture, we see our families, we see generations maybe, right? And that's one of the things that buyers need to make sure they don't get too overwhelmed and too involved with. You need to take emotions out of the home purchase and look at what is best for you long term. Because if we get too emotionally attached or involved in buying, then you're going to see, which exists right now, instances where every home is going for $100,000 more than asking price because people are so eager. They're saying, listen, there just isn't enough inventory. Cars are doing the same thing. Homes are doing the same things. Look at people taking advantage right now with just everyday grocery items. I remember there was a funny meme on Facebook with wood, and so there's a trailer of an old barn that's been torn down and put into a trailer and says, $1 million. Don't try to lowball me. I know my value of what I'm selling, right? Because wood was going crazy. And so what that is you get so emotionally involved with the purchase that you're willing to pay whatever it takes to win. And so patience, pulling back, understanding the amount that you can put into a home without putting yourself at risk. They talk about many times, don't become house poor. Nobody wants to get into a home and then not be able to ever take a vacation or go. I remember one couple came in to talk with me years ago and they were in tears. And the wife says, we wish we just had enough money to buy our grandkids hamburgers once a month. That's how tight their finances were. And so I implore everybody watching, don't let yourself get into the emotional overbuying trap that exists in today's market, because more homes will become available if you're patient. There's always a good deal if you're patient. If you have to get something now, that's when the overbuying and the competition gets too heavy, and then you will overpay for an item.
Wow. Well, that's what makes you the expert, John. Okay. That's what makes you the expert. So why is it valuable to have someone like you on our team if we're navigating through the market to buy or sell a property?
It's critical, and I'm not going to say just, as me, but anybody out there, at SRE.com, we call them an SRE professional expert. These are individuals who aren't just there, making their money, right? These are individuals who are ethically trained. They're often members of associations, like myself being past president of the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. If you go there to namb.org, you can see individuals who are upheld to a higher level of ethics in the lending industry, people who are licensed and educated. And at the end of the day, by using someone who is an SRE professional expert, they're going to listen to, okay, what is it you're wanting to do? What is it you're trying to achieve? What are your long-term goals? And then they give you all of the options and say, okay, great. Here's what I would recommend. But once again, it's what you need. I'll give you the best advice I know. I'll give you all the options and lay them out for you. But you're still going to decide what's best for you. It's kind of like we talked about this the other day, going to Baskin Robbins, and they say, yeah, I'm sorry, you want pralines and cream. I mean, that's good ice cream. I like it. But I really love cookie dough. Right. I don't want people telling me what I have to do, right? I want to be able to work in that human-assisted e-commerce. Let me do as much as I want, but if I need help, let's work with an SRE professional expert that will give me the advice, and then I'll go back to choosing my own and getting done what I need done. Because for all of the people out there and how well educated they are about the process and how much they know, if you go to a professional, they're going to give you the insight to the stuff you don't know. Henry Ford talked about that, right? To paraphrase, I don't need to know everything because I work with so-and-so who knows about that and that and that and that. They know what they know, and they'll help me become better.
Absolutely. And John, what services does SRE.com provide, and where can viewers find more information?
So I love it. Once again, the name of our company, SRE.com, is exactly where you go. SRE.com. And when you go there, you can see right now we're starting out with mortgages. So you go in, you click on that Be Matched, and you'll be matched with an SRE professional expert, or as we call them, an SPE. And they will reach out to you and find the best loan. Utilizing the latest technology and the best options that are out there, they'll be able to find for you the best mortgage that's best suited for you. And as we continue to expand, as we grow, if you scroll down on our website, you'll see we're a multi-solution platform. What does that mean? It just means there's going to be a whole ton of services that we're going to provide, whether it be real estate, title, appraisal, contractors, anything that affects your home. Today it's mortgages, but the future is very, very bright at SRE.com to benefit you. And the key component there, you receive a 20% rebate on the commissions paid out. And that's life-changing for a lot of buyers. They now, if the heater goes out, they have that extra money. If they need a couch, they have that extra money. You look at it, and these aren't discount people you're working with. These are SRE professional experts who have made the agreement to take care of each and every single person who goes through the website.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you so much, John, of course, for your information and for joining us again.
Oh, thank you again. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Some life-changing discounts going on there. And next, we're going to learn about some life-changing healthcare right here on Main Street Living. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Quincy, when an injury or an illness impacts your life or someone you love, priorities often revolve around getting back to the way life was before the accident or illness, and that takes quality, compassionate care.
Yeah, that's right. And Opelousas General's health system in Louisiana has been caring for their community for 62 years. In fact, take a look at how their inpatient rehab center is helping patients get their lives back.
What a patient can expect when they come onto the inpatient rehab unit is to be involved in an interdisciplinary team of professionals and wonderful caring people here on our Opelousas General Rehab Unit. We have physical therapy, which is going to help them with motion. We have occupational therapy, which is going to help them with what we call our activities of daily living, or our ADLs, which are the things we all need to do when we get up every morning. Washing our face, brushing our teeth. Some have to brush their hair, others are more lucky.
Patients qualify for inpatient rehabilitation because they have a significant functional deficit. And that's what makes them available to come over here or qualify to be admitted. The holistic approach that we use to treat our patients here include a whole team of persons attending to the patient's need and reassessing it on a daily basis, almost on an hourly basis. Inpatient rehabilitation benefits the patient by providing them the ability to return back to their functional level or better than they were before whatever happened brought them here. Our goal is to make the patient as functional as we can and to bring him back to his baseline before whatever brought him here was, or even better. And we do that by approaching all of his or her medical problems and physical problems.
Everybody that comes up on rehab has had something taken away from them. I always say that they've had something they never thought would happen to them, and it's already happened. Whether it's a stroke, or whether it's an amputation, or whether they've fallen and broken a hip, and they've had their autonomy and their ability to do for themselves taken away. And we are blessed to be able to help them on the beginning of this journey, them and their families, back to their independence.
The treatment modalities for inpatient rehabilitation are global. They include physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, nutritional support, and of course medication. The conditions that respond excellently well for inpatient rehabilitation are mainly strokes, because they do give you a lot of deficits, followed by complete hip replacements and knee replacements. But also other conditions such as being debilitated and weak from an extended hospital stay due to a catastrophic infection.
Dr. Alamani and I try to not be doctors, but be healers, because that takes everything. And thankfully, we have such a great team that we're all able to help them on their emotional journey, getting through this, as well as on their spiritual journey, getting through this. And not only get better, but see better. See that they have a future where they will be able to do for themselves again.
Wow, Danielle, it's pretty cool to see how rehab centers like this exist.
Absolutely. And I love that they take a holistic approach, right, with a team of doctors to help you out. And you can get more information about the services Opelousas General Health System provides at opelousasgeneral.com.
That's right. Straight ahead, more of Main Street Living next.
Welcome back into Main Street Living Quincy. We are very fortunate because it's Women's History Month and we're going to be celebrating all month long. I think this was a great start.
Oh, absolutely. And we just want to say we miss you, Cheryl, okay?
Yes.
And if you guys want to catch any of our other content, you can always go to our Cox Contour app.
That's right. And new shows Mondays at 9 p.m. local time.
That's right. And of course, Cheryl's not here, but when she gets back, she'll take it over. Until then, we'll see you right back here again next time for another exciting show on the Main Street.